Welcome to JP's Morning Brief for April 24th, 2026. Good morning, everybody. We made it to Friday, barely. So, before I get started, this morning I was watching the news. There are sometimes reporters should just go apply for a job at McDonald's. And yesterday was one of those times. There was a stupid report, and I don't even want to know what organization this person was with. Asked the president if he was going to use a nuclear weapon in Iran. And the president said, "What kind of stupid question is that?" And they're like, he is absolutely, why would you even think about using, and I can't believe I left my volume on again. Hold on. Why would you even think about or fathom to even think about asking a lame brain question like that to the President of the United States? Unless you were trying to set him up, which was probably right. They were probably trying to set him up. That was unbelievable. I cannot believe that lady even asked the President of the United States if he was going to use a nuclear weapon in Iran. Okay, so welcome to the morning brief. Stupid is stupid does. But welcome to the morning brief. As we get started, thank you all very much for showing up. Click that follow button as we get started here. Be a follower, please. And then click that like button for the show today. And let's get started. We got Covite for Life in the chat room, the live chat. Let's join. Let's give them some feel good stuff. Now I'm going to start out. He gave me a Texas and American flag this morning before. If you're on, you probably don't see it, but hey, that's right. I'm going to put in reverse order. I'm going to put an American flag. Excuse me. What is the deal? I come on the air and I want to sneeze. What's up with that? Now, put some flags in the chat. Okay, guys, let's go. Let's do this. All right. America 250. Over the last few days, I've been doing a pamphlet from John Adams called Thoughts on Government at noon today, noon central. I'm going to finish up that pamphlet. It has been really good. All right. Been really good. But this morning I have another letter from John Adams, to William Tudor, for the 24th of April. All right. So it says, "Dear Sir, your favor by Mr. Palvey, I received this evening, and it was the more agreeable because it resolved the question I had often asked and never before could obtain the answer, whether the judge advocate was come with the army to New York. I am very sorry to hear that Boston is in so defenseless a condition. The harbor must be impregnable at all events. I think our people will exert themselves, but I could have wished that more troops had been left there, at least for a time. It gives me pleasure to learn that New York is put in so good of a posture of defense, but I wish I could hear that the inhabitants were better pleased with the military visitants." Okay, so I'll stop right there. If you did not know, New York was the very last piece of U.S. property that the British evac in 1783. So it gives you the mentality of how New York is compared to the rest of the colonies. There is one event which I think could essentially alter the political character and conduct of those people, and that is the institution of a new government. This point must be accomplished in that in every other colony, South Carolina has nobly led the way, and I hope from the best intelligence believe that North Carolina and Virginia will follow the example, and equal wisdom and magnanimity. The Jerseys, too, have the same thing in contemplation. This province in Maryland will be the last, but not the least resolute when they adopt the measure. I wish you would make this a subject of conversation as much as you can, both among the gentlemen of the army and the citizens, and convince all of the expediency, the practicality, the necessity of this measure. Believe me, there is nothing upon which the salvation of America more depends. When this step is taken, the new legislatures would exert themselves with tenfold of alacrity in every warlike preparation by sea and land. They would study and labor to better purpose in manufacturing saltpeter, powder, arms, clothing, and everything they want. Besides, it would cement the Whigs and discourage the Tories. It would introduce order in the place of confusion. In short, the advantages are innumerable and the disadvantages none. How is it possible for people to hear the cry of a court pronounce "God save the King"? And he didn't put the whole word in it, "God save the King," just G-D. And the jurors to swear well and truly to try an issue between a sovereign lord and king and the prisoner, or to keep the majesty's secrets. In these days I cannot conceive. Don't the clergy pray that he may vanquish and overcome all of his enemies yet? Who do they mean by his enemies? Your army? Have people no consciences, or do they look upon all oaths to be customs, house oaths? You must not mention my name. You know the reason. It will be all the more good to come from yourself. The New York Congress has done very well in the resolutions about saltpeter and powder, and the Council of Safety. I think have done very well. The Friends of Liberty in that city and colony have great merit. They have struggled with many embarrassments. They ought to be treated with great respect. And indeed, the lukewarm, the moderate, the timid, and even the trimmers and Tories should be gained by gentle treatment where that will do. I wish to know if Major Austin and Mr. Rice are at New York, and also to know what regiments are left in Boston, and who are the colonels. Write me by every post. Don't omit one. All right, and that was from John Adams. Pretty good letter, right? And I'm intentionally putting as much pro-independent stuff in there as possible because we are in our 250 year, and people need to know about how grandeur the thought of independence was. That's why I'm reading this one deal about him also called The Thoughts on Government, because it's really good. Same thing he did with Common Sense. All right. So let's see. Next on the list is there. All right. Whether you're looking for your first firearm, upgrading your setup, or need an expert service, Jason at the Armament Shop is Copper's Cove's premier source for all things shooting. Browse our wide selection of pistols, rifles, and shotguns, backed by their top tier gunsmithing for repairs, along with reloading supplies and professional cleaning to keep your firearm in peak condition. Need a transfer? We make FFL transfers fast, easy, and affordable. Need your CHL? JC can handle those classes. He has over 3 decades of experience. Visit the armament shop today at 115A West Avenue D in Coppers Cove, or call or text at 254-560-2023. The Armament Shop. Your safety, our priority. Alrighty. Great guy. Getting married tomorrow. Yep, he sure is. All right. Him and Lynette. Alrighty. So onward to our morning brief. It's Iran update, Operation Epic Fury. The ceasefire continues. All right. So Hezbollah launches rockets into Israel. And then Lebanon-Israeli talks in D.C. continue on. Lebanon wants Hezbollah gone. And they extended the ceasefire yesterday 3 additional more weeks, which is really good. So on top of 2 weeks, so they're pushing it past a month. Really good news for the people who live in Israel and in Lebanon. Maybe after 50, 60 years, 70 years, because Lebanon is the only country, I believe, that borders Israel that is only in a state of war with Israel. I believe that's the case. Okay, and hopefully we can get that overcome. All right. Khomeini sends messages saying the U.S. is weak, even though he won't come on camera. Iran has lost $144 billion in 2 months of warfare. FIFA says Iran can compete in the World Cup that's coming up, but only if, they can compete, their players can compete in the FIFA World Cup unless a player is linked to the IRGC, and that player will be eliminated from the team. All right. Trump says Iran must cut ties to Hezbollah and must give up their uranium. And then CENTCOM confirms there are now 3 U.S. carriers in the Middle East. And that is the first time since 2003 that 3 U.S. carriers are on station in the Middle East. And there's a 4th carrier in the Pacific Ocean still. So if we needed to commit a 4th carrier to this combat action, we have that capability. All right. The price of oil is up this morning. Brent crude oil is trading at $106.83 a barrel. West Texas Intermediate is at $97.23 a barrel. And yesterday, the Dow Jones closed at 49,310.32. That is down 179.71. Let me make a correction to my screen here. All right, cool. All right, I'm back. All right, so here we go. Fireworks blew apart yesterday in the U.S. Senate. All right. So Mark Wayne Mullen, that Okie, man, but never underestimate what an Okie can do to you, okay? Especially if you're a New York City liberal that doesn't know where we'll stop there. Okay. So Department of Homeland Security Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen lashed out at Senate Minority Leader Chuck E. Schumer for saying the Border Patrol and ICE agents are agencies that nobody respects in this country. And then he says, "It makes my ears red," Mullen told Fox News' Bill Melugin on America's Newsroom on Thursday. "It takes a lot for me to get upset, but Chuck Schumer, no one respects you. The definition of a lying scumbag politician, that is you. You would be the definition if you Googled, right now. I mean, you don't know, you don't Why don't you just come out and be honest with the American people? He wants you to have open borders. Oh my goodness. When I heard that, that was better than when um, who said it now? Oh, Ron DeSantis yesterday called Hakeem Jeffries a dollar store Obama. I mean, these guys are good. But this comment that Mark Wayne Mullen made yesterday afternoon, cut to the chase because it was on the mark. You know, putting steel on a target. That was an awesome. Nobody respects in this country. Uh, where was it? The definition of a lying scumbag politician. When I see that comment, I see Chuck E. Schumer. Flat out. Oh my goodness, that was awesome. That was awesome. All right. So now we get to talk about some rhinos in our caucus, the GOP caucus. I'm talking about Tom Tillis, Mitch McConnell, Lisa Murkowski, and Susan Collins. The four amigos. All right. Two of them are leaving Congress, are leaving the Senate, and one of them is has a primary in a general election. We have to get her reelected. We have to, and she is the least dangerous out of the other three. Right? That's Susan Collins. Lisa Murkowski. That you're lucky I don't curse because you're really, really lucky I don't curse. Because she is the essence of every cuss word that's in the English language. That's Lisa Murkowski. Okay. If you did not know, Lisa Murkowski was going to lose her last primary when she ran for re-election um, uh, 4 years ago, I think it was. All right. She was going to get beat. She knew she was going to get beat, and she convinced the Alaska legislature and voters to approve ranked choice voting, the most undemocratic way of voting in the whole world. But she got it instituted because she wanted to be reelected into the United States Senate, and that is the only reason why they have ranked choice voting in Alaska. All right. This girl, she needs to go away. She absolutely needs to go away. I'm not even talking about the SAVE Act yet. That lady is an embodiment of a turncoat, redcoat from the American Revolution. She is worse than Benedict Arnold. Okay? I said it. Lisa Murkowski is worse than Benedict Arnold. All right? Her dad would be ashamed of how she conducts herself in politics because her dad was an Alaskan politician. All right, so if you didn't hear, and I would like to extend a welcome back out for Scott Presler because it's going to happen. Scott Presler said if the Senate does not pass the Save America Act, he will be in um, Texas the month of May and ensure that John Cornyn, he is one of those almost rhinos, or he is a rhino, almost like with the Four Amigos. He will be in Texas to ensure that John Cornyn does not win the primary. Okay. A cohort of Senate Republicans joined Democrats to sink a late night attempt to attach a version of the voter ID and citizenship verification legislation to the GOP's bill funding federal immigration enforcement. Tom Tillis, Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, and Mitch McConnell all voted against a modified version of the Safeguarding American Voter Eligibility America Act early Thursday morning. Their defection came as the Senate Marathon Votorama, where lawmakers could force votes on a number of other amendments, regardless of whether they mesh with the underlying budget blueprint. The amendment's 48 to 50 failure crystallized what several Republicans had warned for weeks before launching the quasi-floor takeover to debate the Save America last month. It didn't have support among the GOP to pass. Okay? So, it appears the proposal was doomed even if Senate Majority Leader John Thune launched the oral filibuster to advance the measure with a simple 50 vote majority. I'm asking, what is the problem with this act, with these Republicans? This is ridiculous. Why don't we have to have national voter ID? Why don't we have national? Are you a U.S. citizen to be able to register to vote? Why don't we have more restrictions on mail-in balloting? Why don't we? Those are simple. Why don't we have an act saying men can't participate in women's sports? Why can't? Those are no non-brainers. That should not be any issue. I have no idea why these senators are thumbing their nose at the President of the United States and keeping him from a secure election system that can be enforced. We're not saying we're going to take over the voting. We just want standards on board to allow Americans to know who has the right and who does not have the right to vote. Yesterday, I was talking about this one Mexican national that has voted several times in our elections. He's not going to do no more because he's going bye-bye. But why does it take people to get arrested for attempting to vote in our elections that are not even U.S. citizens because they think they can get away with it? It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable. So, where do we go from here? Another you saw the deal with what time we got here? 6:53. Oh my goodness. I don't even ever get started. Wow. Okay. We'll cross that bridge later on. All right. So what we got? We got 9 people watching. 1 people watching from Facebook. That's awesome. Congratulations. Welcome, Facebook viewer. That's awesome. All right. Hey, if you like what you're hearing, click put an American flag in the comment section, because we got to try to be better Americans and make this work. One of the last things I think I'm going to be able to cover this morning, it comes from Congress. It comes from Jim Jordan in the House of Representatives. The House Judiciary Committee escalated scrutiny of the Southern Poverty Law Center, the original hate group in the United States, because they like to fund hate groups in the United States, demanding documents from the nonprofit after federal indictment alleged the group funneled millions in donor funds to extremist organizations. You know what? If I was a donor to the SPLC, I would be requesting a refund of my donation. I don't know if that's possible, but I would be requesting that. Because if I found out my money went to an Imperial Grand Wizard of the KKK or to the National Front or some neo-Nazi, you know what? I say, give me my money back now. All right? Man, people better go to jail. Committee Chair Jim Jordan Republican from Ohio, who should be the Speaker of the House, but I digress, wrote in a letter first obtained by Fox News to SPLC President Brian Fair. There's nothing fair about Brian Fair, that the GOP-led committee was investigating any coordination between the SPLC and the Biden Department of Justice and FBI, both which had used left-wing nonprofits as a resource. Jordan demanded the a slate of documents from the SPLC by April 30th. That's next week. A request that comes after his Republican counterparts in the Senate also ramped up scrutiny on the SPLC, and after acting Attorney General Todd Blanche hinted at more possible indictments related to the group. Thank you. I hope one of them is an IRS tax fraud one for not for money laundering and for income tax evasion. The intensifying investigations into the SPLC expanded from DOJ to Congress, come after Jordan's committee previously investigated the group, saying it was known for maligning several mainstream conservative and religious organizations as hate groups, as such as Moms for Liberty and Turning Point USA, and that the Biden DOJ improperly used it for civil rights enforcement. And then I'll end this for this part of the discussion with this. Jordan wrote, publicly available documents reveal how the Justice Department partnered closely with the SPLC during the Biden-Harris administration, the Otto Penn administration, including scheduling regular meetings, giving the SPLC early access to federal law enforcement data, and allowing the SPLC employees to train federal prosecutors. Now we know how Arctic Frost got started, huh? The wrong people training the wrong people. The new information about the SPLC alleged in the indictment only raises further questions. Need I go any further? I've been talking about this all week. This is BS. These people need to go to jail. All right. 658, where I know I'm not going to get any more. And then the next one I have, and it will be that's Michigan Secretary of State Benson. She is running for governor in the state of Michigan, and she is aligned with the SPLC, and people want to know why, right? All right. So a little bit of events going on. I feel like I got nuked, but hey, that's all right. Yeah, no, it wasn't from our president because he won't use a nuclear weapon, right? On Monday, West Side Conservative Coalition will be meeting at Papa's in Harker Heights at 6 p.m. On the 2nd of May, the Coryell County Republican Party will have a meet and greet at the Food Mill in Gatesville for runoff Republican Party candidates from 11 to 1. And then there will be a county executive committee meeting for the CCRP at 1 o'clock. And then early voting for the runoff starts 18th and 22nd of May. And then the runoff is the 26th of May, when John Cornyn gets beat by Ken Paxton because the Senate can't pass the SAVE Act. Need I go any further, huh? All right. I hope everyone's having a good morning here. I think I need to take some more blood pressure medicine because I think I'm stressed out. Because I'm tired of these turncoat Republicans destroying my party that I'm a member of since I was a teenager. I was the first Republican in my family, and these people are just tearing us apart. We have to worry about the Democrats, and now we got to worry about these turncoat Republicans in the Republican Party. We just need to vanquish them out of the party and build it back up before the Democrats and some Republicans destroy our entire country where we can't recover. All right? All right. 7 o'clock. I'm going to raid Vince. So give me a second here. And there is a DOD news brief in just a second. Relax and have a good breakfast. Oh, it's Friday. Oh my goodness. I got to tell you. Okay. Thank you a lot, Richard. I appreciate that. Where am I at? I cannot believe I forgot Golden Oldies. Did it not go? Let's do it again. Did it go? Nope. I might have to give up on the raid today. That should work. I'm at a loss. It won't let me do the raid. Hold on. Give me a second here. There we go. All right. I'll see y'all at noon Central. I'm out.